essentially, I have a collection of objects here that I'm going to, tap and make sounds with, and I'm also going to explain to you what they are as I'm tapping, but the explanations are completely wrong and not related to the object in the slightest, so just a little fun thing to kind of relax and enjoy along with the sound assortment that the items make in the first place. So that's the introduction out of the way, and I guess let's begin. I hope you enjoy. So for our first item here, we have a blanket, and this isn't just any ordinary blanket, it's an extra large blanket, fully made out of cloth and sheep wool. It provides an immense amount of warmth for those cozy winter nights when it's just too chilly out. You can snuggle up by the fireplace, throw on the blanket, and have a cup of coffee, which we also have here. Now, this is also a rare blanket. Like I said, it is made with sheep's wool, but not just any sheep's wool. Sheep's specifically from the northern regions of Argentina, which are a very rare breed, almost as rare as the East Germanic sheep. So, if you ever need to cozy up under a warm blanket, whether it's a frigid winter night or a crisp fall morning with your coffee, or whatever you may be drinking. One great feature about this blanket is that it is completely waterproof and completely fire resistant. So this thing is pretty durable, and I highly recommend it as your next blanket purchase. I tend to dedicate some of my annual budget to blanket purchases, especially when products such as this are on the market nowadays. So I would encourage you to give this one a look over and see if it strikes your fancy. Obviously, it makes great sounds too, so if you need to have a little help falling asleep at night, just throw this blanket on, and it will make great sounds if you know how to let it make great sounds. The built-in AI feature, you can just ask it, once you give your blanket a name, like, "Hey blanket, make that a great fabric sound that I know you may make." Anyways, that's the blanket. Next up, we have our cup of coffee that you might have under your blanket. You can tell this is not just any ordinary cup of coffee due to how bold and structured its character is. Of course, caffeinated coffee, not decaf, straight from the Colombian hills, where coffee is commonly grown. The flavor profile of this coffee is otherworldly. You have your main overall general coffee flavor mixed in with a hint of sweet chocolate, caramel notes, and hazelnut aromas, which makes it an all-around strong and flavorful cup of joe, morning, afternoon, or night. crisp bean, enjoyment. Why add all the extra sugars and sweeteners and milk and whatnot? You're really taking away from the coffee itself. But if you so choose, you can add a little bit of your favorite flavoring to the coffee. Personally, I am either a mocha pot for espresso, which this is not, or a French press for traditional coffee. Anyways, I hope that you're able to find some of this somewhere sometime soon. And we'll move on to the next item, which is the video game American Truck Simulator. As you can see, it is a very expansive game. I know there's a lot to take in, but for those unaware, American Truck Simulator is a video game where you simulate driving a semi-truck or big rig in America. Currently there are, I don't know how many states, and about 15 states available to drive through, starting from the West Coast and moving east. You begin by taking jobs and driving in a rented truck, but as your profit grows and you make money, you can purchase your own truck to take even better jobs and haul across longer distances and get trusted with more advanced cargo. From there, you can buy multiple garages to keep your trucks and start a company by hiring other drivers, giving them trucks and having them make money for you as well. Now let's check out the map and take a closer look, shall we? Now, as you can see, there are a lot of different routes that you can take, but in each state, the main cities, and especially the capitals, are on display for you to drive through and pick up cargo from and deliver cargo to. It is especially fun with friends when you can convoy together and drive from one state all the way to another. And you can accessorize your truck and make it look a lot cooler to your liking. As well as upgrading different aspects of it, like the engine and the transmission, to specialize for different types of cargo. They are soon to come out with, let's see, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa as the next states Arizona is also part of the Four Corners, which is the only place in the United States where four states come together, borders come together, and touch one another. There are some pretty popular towns and cities in Arizona. The more urban of which are the likes of Phoenix and Tucson and Flagstaff. And you have more touristy towns like Sedona. Arizona is fascinating in that the southern part of it, such as Phoenix and down, experience extreme heat and a significant lack of rain and snow and water, whereas the northern part of Arizona around the Flagstaff area has winters more common to the other states that border it, gets snow and the likes of more seasons. This is due mostly to the elevation, but also the more south you go, the hotter it gets, at least in the States. So, the state of Arizona. Next up, we have a basketball. Basketballs have been around for a long time. Basketball is one of the most popular sports in America and soon around the world. The NBA is the professional league in America. But there are also leagues in just about every other continent that are prominent, especially Europe and Asia. But this is your typical official basketball, so you can bump it up to whatever the regulation PSI is. And, dribble it around. And shoot the hoops. is definitely the way to go. And for our final object, that's right. How'd you know? A Flattop Grill. Now, I recently got into the world of flat-top grills with this bad boy. It allows you to cook just about everything you want, all at the same time on the same top. The most popular items being of course smash burgers, as well as Philly cheesesteaks, and your classic breakfast combos. Just throw those hash browns on, put the pancake batter on, add bacon, scrambled eggs if you're brave, sausage, and you've got yourself, good Lord, you've got yourself a breakfast for champions. You can tell by my stomach sounds that I am quite hungry for a breakfast. But these things are very important to keep clean and keep seasoned correctly to avoid rust and damage. The hardest part about owning one is, of course, keeping it clean, but when you first get it, having to take the time to season it. But once you get that complete and you're able to cook on it, it will be well worth it for the ease of use and the range of available food options. So that's why I'm really happy to have this finally. But that is the last item, so I hope you enjoyed my collection of things here. And, you know, if you want to learn more about some of the stuff I own, just let me know. I'm happy to explain all of my items that I own. So I'm glad that you were able to stop by and experience my joy for everything. So I will see you soon.